Welcome to battle number 1 of week number 7 of the FNF Seafoam Isles Draft League. I'm your host Lionhugs, and I'll be commentating this live match between Reich of the Refrigerated Kingdras versus Sir Roland of the Shoreside Blue Caps. Before we go ahead and continue, let's review the Mega and Z Pokemon Kingdom pairings today. So on Reich's corner, we do have Mega Charizard Y, as well as Z NE Tapu Koko and Z Attack Garchomp. On Sir Roland's corner, we have Mega Pinsir, as well as Z Attack Cobalion. Before we go ahead and begin, let's just go over some brief initial thoughts. So first off, this will be actually Sir Roland's first match, I believe, for this league. Sir Roland being a competitor from Victoriode, who is subbing in for one of our competitors who had to drop out earlier. And looking at their team, they seem to have a really interesting choice. I mean, Mega Pinsir is usually not a Mega too many people go after just because of the typing. However, I'm very curious to see how Mega Pinsir will be utilized. Not to mention, really good combo there with Cobalion, Trevenant, and Volcanion. I always trip over that name. The three of them covering decent amount of threats, and I'm assuming that Jirachi would probably fulfill more of a cleric role, though it could also be a potential Calm Minesweeper, assuming it can get rid of the big threats in Garchomp and Donphan. Meanwhile, Reich looks like also a pretty decently balanced team. We all know Milotic's very tanky, Garchomp obviously very aggressive, Donphan can also fill a nice sort of tanky role, set up Stealth Rock, and as well as Rapid Spin to clear hazards. Not to mention Bronzong as well, being like a nice good wall that Tapu Koko could potentially Volt Switch in and out and substitute for any of those aforementioned Pokemon. And obviously we do have Charizard Y with all the fire types and droughts, so that could spell certain death actually for Trevenant and Mega Pinsir if a Drought Enhanced, Fire Blast, or any other Fire move hits either of those two. But without further ado, let's go ahead and begin. And out comes Hax, Jirachi on Sir Roland's side, and Tamale the Tapu Koko on Reich's, setting up that electric terrain. Given that Hax is leading for Sir Roland, I wonder if this is Calm Minesweeping variant. Oh, instead it goes for the Iron Head, and the flinch goes through on Tamale. Even though it's only doing neutral damage, that was 43% of its health. Tamale does definitely not want to get hit by another. I wonder if it's a Choice Scarfed Hax. That may explain why it outsped. Yeah. Definitely had to have been a Choice Scarf of some kind. Now comes Undan the Milotic, takes an Iron Head, and looks like it's holding a Flame Orb. That Marvel skill is not really something that any team really wants to face. Excuse me everyone, let me see if I can adjust the chat so you guys can see a little bit better. And out comes Volcanion, MVP, taking an Ice Beam. MVP is probably a very apt name. I'm very excited to see how Volcanion will be used this time. Also, if it's typing, it's really hard to get around. And Unadon goes for the Toxic, and MVP counters with a Sludge Bomb. Probably expecting Tapu Koko to come out. Now that the Sludge Bomb has been revealed, Reik's probably not going to reveal Tapu Koko against Volcanion anytime soon. And Sorolin has switched to Hacks, while Unadon goes ahead and recovers. I wonder if Hacks has anything to deal with Unadon. Maybe an Energy Ball, Thunder, any kind of coverage move would be really useful. Zero, I'm still trying to adjust these settings real quick. There we are. And out comes Jollof the Dawnfan to take that Iron Head. Iron Head doing about a quarter% damage. Quarter damage of its health. That was English. Taking out a quarter of its health. And out comes Ace the Star Raptor, and Unadon the Milotic comes back out as well. I feel like I'm watching like one of those like card games where they're like shuffling all the cards around in front of you. You have to guess which one's the right one. Basically, kind of the experience of like how to read your opponent. I'm not sure Ace has much to deal with Unadon, though a Brave Bird will hit pretty hard. However, Ace does not want to be hit with a Scald, which Unadon most likely has. Or has this move already been revealed? I just remember Recover. Ah, it's Ice Beam Toxic Recover. Most likely Scald. And out comes Tajine to take that U-turn. This allows Sorolin to go ahead and choose who comes out, which is most likely going to be Volcanion. Volcanion would be in a very good position to go ahead and come on. Oh, instead out comes Tree, the Trevenant. It takes a payback, but Trick Room is set up. This should help us Sorolin quite a bit. My apologies if you hear anything in the background, that's probably my roommate making some food or something. Anyway, I do like the shiny version of Trevenant. It's really, I don't know, it kind of fits like the idea of like a ghostly little tree. Tajine definitely does want to go ahead and get hit by maybe like a Shadow Claw or any kind of ghost move that, I was going to say Circuitry, Trevenant will use. Looks like both sides are probably trying to go through some calculations. Also have no idea what Trevenant will actually do. It does have access to a decent amount of coverage moves. Rock Slide could easily 1-hit KO Charizard. We also have Wood Hammer to deal with the ground types. We have Shadow Claw to deal with Bronzong. Obviously, Wood Hammer can also do damage to Milotic, and instead Tajine stays in and uses Payback. Tree uses Poltergeist, but Tajine avoided the attack. Out comes Payback. Poltergeist this time seems to have gone through. I wonder if this is a speed tie. Because Tanjine has moved both first before and after Trick Room has been set up. Ooh, Tanjine uses time to set up Stealth Rock that'll really hurt Sir Roland down the line. And unfortunately, Sir Roland used Poltergeist again, but Tanjine is no longer holding an item. Out comes Master Sword the Cobalion, taking that payback really easily, and the Justified raises his attack by 1 stage. The question is, will Reich sacrifice Tanjine, or try to set somebody else up to take that hit? Out comes Unadon to take that close combat. Only does about 36% health. However, Unadon's probably most gonna use a recover and then probably hit with the Scalds. And given the lower stage from close combat, that Scald would probably do some good damage. Another close combat goes through, bringing Unadon down to 10% health. The recover, though, brings it back to about 53% after burn damage. I wonder if Master Sword gets a critical hit, that would be really useful, but very unlikely. So both players are at decent odds against each other. I'm assuming since we haven't seen Jirachi, that's definitely not a Cleric set. Otherwise it would be really useful to heal up Trevenant and continue rampaging through Trick Room, assuming they can get rid of Tanjine. Looks like Master Sword is finally using its Z move, using Continental Crush. Again, only doing 37% damage, despite the raised attack. Recover brings Unadon back to about 59% after a little bit of chip damage from that burn. It's the problem with Milotic, she's so very tanky, she could easily take hit after hit after hit after then just heal back up and then scald you once you're pretty much worn out. Without a strong electric or grass move, this is going to be a very tough match for Sir Roland. Not to mention the Stealth Rock is going to really hurt Pinsir once it comes out. Sorry, looks like I'm getting a spam call. Looks like we're off on a staring contest. Assuming Sir Roland is trying to calculate what he could do to break free of this stalemate. Instead, out comes Jollof to take the next Iron Head. Looks like Reich breaks the stalemate. Surprised Reich didn't keep Milotic out to go ahead and use that Scald. If he gets another high roll through that Iron Head, that might be enough to take out Jollof, get the first Pokemon down from the match. Unless Reich switches out to someone else. If Donphan is the hazard remover, you might want to keep Jollof in reserve. Instead, an Ice Shard comes out, doing some chip damage to Master Sword, however, Jollof is not able to take the close combat. Instead, out comes Tamale v Tapu Koko. The score is currently 6-5 in Sir Roland's favor. Looks like Electric Surge is set up. I'm expecting to see a Volt Switch. Instead, out comes Jirachi. Ooh, 39% health. Plus the Stealth Rock damage brought it down. And out comes Hakarl. And the Earthquake is more than enough to finish off Hax at its weakened state. The score is now back to an even 5-5. Seeing as so many Pokemon on Sir Roland's team are weak to Stealth Rock, it's kind of not in a good position. Ace comes out, Ace the Staraptor, taking about 25% damage from the Stealth Rock. And out comes Brave Bird to bring Tajine down to 9%, who takes the hit rather than Hakarl. I don't know how to pronounce that properly. As someone in the chat mentioned, Staraptor calculations versus anything guaranteed 2-hit KO. Indeed, with its speed and attack, very few Pokemon can deal with a Brave Bird. Currency of Tajine was at full health. It would be a 3-hit KO, but either way. And another Brave Bird takes out Tajine. Score is back down to an even. Oh, sorry. Back down to a 5-4. And out comes Tamale the Tapu Koko. Ace is not in a good position, nor does it really want to switch out either to take more Stealth Rock damage later on. And indeed, Sir Roland goes ahead and switches out to Tree the Trevenant to take that Volt Switch. This allows Sir Roland to go ahead and send someone in freely, however, no one really wants to take more Stealth Rock damage. On top of that, Reich is still in prime position to go ahead and switch out in response to whoever Sir Roland sends out. I think the best bet might actually be Cobalion, if not potentially Volcanion. Especially Volcanion, seeing as no one else could really do that much damage to it. Depending on how much health it has. Oh, but it is toxic. In that case, Cobalion dishing out those close combats could be useful, but then we may see another stalemate with Milotic. Oh, my apologies, I misread the order of switching. So Hawkarl comes out, while Sir Roland decides who comes out in response. In which case, I would still say Volcanion is in a good position. Oh, and since Zoom Zoom the Pinsir comes out, Shiny Pinsir too. Interesting choice, as it does resist ground typing, but we'll see how Sir Roland uses Mega Pinsir. Not to mention who Reinhardt's going to calculate to take that next hit, unless it's going to be Garchomp. Now comes Zoom Zoom to take that Rock Slide. Unfortunately, it's not fast enough to outspeed Garchomp and goes down. Now comes Master Sword the Cobalion. I wonder if that's a Scarfed Garchomp, given that Mega Pinsir should have outsped, assuming Pinsir was invested in speed. While this so far is a very close match, things are still leaning towards Reich's favor given the presence of Stealth Rock and a Toxic Canyon. Still though, a 4-3 score. Just goes to show you how close the match is going. I suppose calculations are going through right now to determine whether or not a close combat can take out Hakarl, or at least bring it down to killing range for another Pokemon, such as Staraptor or Volcanion. Oh, instead Tamale Tapu Koko comes out, probably expecting a switch, and Master Sword goes for the Poison Jab. Excellent read on Sir Roland's part. Tamale is down to 6% health. And indeed, Rykard mentions that was a close one. And fortunately, Poison Jab did not poison. If it did, Tamale would have been finished off. Love it or hate it, that sometimes is part of the game. Or for more like me, you love it when it's in your favor and you hate it when it's not. But most people would be like that. And a Volt Switch brings down Master Sword to 23% health. This is probably Master Sword's last move. A Stone Edge only does about 12% damage. I'm assuming they were expecting Charizard to come out instead. Have we seen Copalion's full moveset yet? Yes, it looks like we have, and given that reveal, Carl can pretty much stay in comfortably. Assuming it can take a... Ooh, and an Outrage, it allows it to go first. Looks like it's pulling a Scarf. Yeah, it has to have been holding a Scarf. And out comes MVP. The Volcanion is already toxic, however, Hakarl is finally confused due to its Outrage. Next turn, MVP will die to Toxic, assuming... Well, no. Unless MVP has Recover, there's pretty much nothing you can do. And a Steam Eruption comes out. Unfortunately, Unadon is the one who takes the hit, and Toxic Damage finishes off MVP. We are now down to Sir Roland's last Pokemon, Ace Staraptor. Unadon, however, is at 33% health. Assuming Staraptor is going to be able to go first, a Brave Bird should finish it off. Reich's probably best move is to have Tapu Koko take the hit. Ooh. Instead, Unadon takes it, and Unadon goes down. Oh, sorry, I forgot Tapu Koko's at 6% health. This match is very, very close. Ooh, but Carl with the Scarf, its Outrage goes through and finishes the battle for Reich. That is a 3-0 victory for Reich. In a very good game. Very interesting, very nice tug of war between these two trainers. And a very exciting match for Sir Roland being his first debut match in Seafoam Isles. Anyway, excuse me. Anyway, please stay tuned for more Week 7 battles of the FNF Victory Road Draft League. I'm your coach, Lionhugs, signing off.